You just go through how you have done the styling. So I think it's not required to go in detail as of now for me because you already know. So border I have given 1 pixel solid block and width is 33%. Text alignment is center. Okay, background color is dark gray. Similarly, table margin it is given auto, then input text align right. Okay, for the input element the text alignment is given right. So did you observe the output? So this is text alignment. So I have given right. If you want to make it center or left side, you can change accordingly. Okay, so style part is completed. Any doubt in this style part? We have discussed this in detail already. So now let me move on to the before going to the JavaScript, I'll go to the HTML part. Okay, so this is the HTML part. Okay, where you are creating a table. So the first row is column span of 4. Then you are giving the heading. TH stands for table heading calculator. Then you are creating a row in the first row. So where you are going to specify, there is a label. Okay, that is value 1. So this is the a label. Then followed by there is an input box. Okay, so input element that is of type text. So id, here you have to give the ids because you are going to access these values whatever it is entered through the input box to perform the corresponding operations, what are the operation it has to perform. For that reason, so this id is very important. You should not use the same id. Okay, you should give some unique values and your value it is 0. So whenever if I click on clear all, by default the value should be 0. So that's what I'm getting there. If you remove that value equal to 0, then it will be the empty text box. Okay, so this is with respect to the first input box where you are going to get the data from user. Okay, so this is one input box and this is the second input box. Okay. So now in the next row, okay, this is the first row. In the next row, we are going to add the buttons. Okay, in the next row, we are going to add the buttons. So the first column in the second row is the button. Input type is button and value I am going to give addition. Okay, so the value that is going to display on the button element. Okay, so like this value for this button, and for the second button I have given subtraction, and third one multiplication, and fourth one division. Okay, so this is just name displayed on the buttons. So how uniquely you can access this? For that you have to give the id value. Okay, so that is id add for this particular button, then for this it is subtraction, multiplication, okay, division till here. Okay, I'm just talking about the second row. Now whenever you click on, so there is an event in JavaScript. Okay, we'll be discussing in detail about the events shortly. So maybe in the next class I will focus on events. What are the different types of events supported by the JavaScript? So here for time being there is one event called on click. So when you click on the button, it is going to invoke a particular function. Okay, so it is going to invoke a JavaScript function. So this is on click. It is called as a JavaScript event. So when you click on this particular button, it will call or it will invoke this function calculator this id. This id means whatever the id assigned to this button. Okay, so that will be passed to the JavaScript. Okay, you can just observe here. There is a JavaScript within the script tag. If you want, you can just write it on external. Here I have used the embedded JavaScript. So once if you are flexible in coding, so however you want, you can keep on modifying the things. Okay, so function calculator click id. So whatever the id it is invoked with, that particular id is passed here to this function as an argument. Then it is going to read the value. Okay, within this function, before addition starts, it is going to get the values. Okay, so from where? So parse float. Why parse float? What is the meaning of this? I have already explained. See, all these functions are already explained. I am just focusing on the calculation. What exactly it is? Parse float. Yes, can somebody tell what is this function? Why I am using here? If you know the answer, unmute yourself and tell.
It converts it to float, ma.
Okay. So before, if I don't use, what happens? If I don't use this, if you are reading data, in what data format it is? I think everybody learned Java, no? So if you want to work with the integer, so you'll be using parseInt. Or if it is the floating point values, okay, in that case you will be using the parse float. So why it is required? Because whenever, whatever the data you are reading, that is in the form of string. Okay, so it has to be converted into the corresponding data type. I think there is one program I've executed to show this. So even if you enter 9, it is considering it as a string. Even if you enter a, this is considered as string. So now whenever if you want to convert this input, whatever it is read from the user, okay, into a corresponding data type, it is called typecasting. Okay, so here I am using parse float, where it is going to convert the value that is entered by the user in the text box. It is a string that should be converted into float using parse float. Okay, so you just store this value, the first value, okay, var value1 parse float document dot get element by id. So I think this also I have already explained. Get element, document dot get element by id. That means you will be able to get the value through the id. So what is the id for text box here? You can just see value1 and value2. With the help of this id, I am able to access the value that is entered in this text box. Okay, so that's why I am using here get element by id value1. That means now I am able to access the, and what is the name? It is given here value. So dot value. So I am able to access the first value and stored into variable var1. Similarly, it is for the second text box, the element whatever it is entered, I am trying to access using with the help of document object using function get element by id. Even if you want, you can go with a get element by tag name. Okay, so in that case you have to give the tag name to be specified here. So now the two values are accessed, okay, and it is stored in value1 and value2. Okay, so now you need to check. Sometimes what happens, uh, let me just see, I have not entered anything, clear all or refresh. So now I'll click on, okay, actually I should get an error. So I should get a message, alert message. I will check it later that. So I should get enter a valid number, or if you try to enter string, let me see. Yes. So if you are not giving numbers other than numbers, if you are trying to give, okay, here I am giving string st or tt something tr and trying to apply addition. So in that case, it will check these input values. Is it a number? Okay, if it is a number, then it will invoke the particular function to perform either addition, subtraction, whatever it is. Okay, if it is not a number, it will not go further. Okay, these are the simple error conditions you need to check. So what is the function? Is not a number. Okay, if this condition is true or if this condition is true, it will stop the execution here itself by giving the alert message. Okay, so by giving the alert message, it will stop the execution. In case if these conditions are false, okay, if these conditions are false, then it will go to the else part. So in the previous classes I have explained so how you can write if else condition using JavaScript. Okay, so there is no much change. Okay. Okay, so first it will, I am audible now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. It will check is it whatever the number it is entered, is it valid or not. If it is valid, okay, if this condition fails and it will go to the else part. You are going to write a series or ladder of else if conditions and you will be performing the operation. So in the first else if, what you are writing? So that is clicked ID. Okay, so that is whatever it is passed here. So clicked ID is equal to add. Okay, whatever the ID it is passed here, is it add? If it is condition is true, okay, and it is going to perform this. What is the operation here? Document dot get element by ID. Okay, get element by ID, the answer, whatever you have entered that number, dot value is equal to value 1 plus value 2, whatever it is read from the input box. Okay, so that will be taken, added those two values, and it will display on the screen what is the answer. Okay, on the HTML page you are able to write what is the addition of these two numbers. Okay, so what is this answer here? So that is where you are going to get the result. That is once again input box name. Okay, so there you are going to write the values. Okay, so this is a 13. And also one more important thing is, I told this is disabled. You just go back to that part, you can just see it should be disabled. Okay, so the answer, the last one, you can see the answer input type is text and ID is answer. Okay, so here I am trying to display the value and this is disabled. Okay, I don't want to enable it. So normally you have enabled all this text box because you should able to enter the value. So this is not required. You can just disable it using a keyword called disabled. Automatically it will disable the text box. Okay, and it will add these two numbers and write onto the HTML web page with this the element that is having this ID. Okay, similarly in case the condition whatever the value it is passed here, if it is not add, so this condition fails, it will go to the subtract. Okay, it will check clicked ID is sub, if conditions it is true, it will perform the subtraction, otherwise it will go to the next condition. So here you are just performing value 1 minus value 2. So the result whatever you are going to get, that you are writing onto the HTML page using document.getElement by ID. Okay, and you are displaying the value on that particular element. Similarly for multiplication, okay, similarly for division. So this is the actual operation. This is the actual operation and this is a statement used for writing onto the HTML element. Okay, so that's about the function calculator. So that closes function calculator, and also here we have one more function called clear screen. Okay, CLS, you can give any name. So here I have given CLS value 1 dot value is equal to 0, value 2 dot value is equal to 0, and answer dot value is equal to nothing. So what is this actually is, you can just go to the last button. Okay, so there is a last button called clear all. Okay, whenever if you want to clear the value that is entered in the text box, you have one button called clear all. If you click on that, okay, if you click on that, it is going to invoke another function. Okay, so for all remaining buttons you can just see it is invoking same function depending on the id, that is what is the value you are going to pass. So accordingly it will perform any of these operations. So here on click, okay, on click it is going to invoke the cls function. Okay, so that is clearing the screen. I mean not complete screen, it is just an input box. So where you are going to write, so that is function cls, within that value 1 dot value is equal to 0. Value 1 means what? Okay, so that is the first text box. You have given id is value 1 dot value, whatever the value entered here, so that will be set to a 0. Okay, so value 2 for the second text box set to 0, and for answer dot value, where is the answer? Okay, that is for answer text box. So you are accessing these elements with the help of their IDs. Okay, answer dot value nothing. Okay, it will not display anything if you click on clear all. Okay, only text box is set to 0 and the label or the input type, the answer, it will be set to empty when you click on clear all. Okay, so that's all the program. So any queries here? Okay, so this is the program. So how we'll execute now? If anybody is not having, I think as per my knowledge many of you are having the laptop, you can just use the Sublime or any Visual Studio Code, whatever the other editors, Notepad++. You can use any of the editor and you can execute it. Okay, it does not matter, you have to use Sublime only. And who are not having laptop, you can go with a CodePen. Okay. So here what you have to do is, I'll just a minute. So here HTML part, you have to put in the HTML tab, and CSS related thing you have to put it in the CSS, and JavaScript function you have to write it in the JS tab. Okay. So accordingly you will be able to get the output. Any queries with respect to this program? Only thing is many times I observed, I think this is all, if you know the functionalities supported by the JavaScript, you can do it very easily. If you don't know, then it will be difficult, because many times the student will get failed in making mistakes with the cases. Okay, actually when I was typing this program, so I gave you the capital V. Okay, just observe how much it will affect. Okay, so I have just saved program. Let me just run that program. Okay, I will enter value 10 and here 20. Okay, addition. See, it is not giving the answer. Just one simple mistake, even sometimes you will be unable to decode it. Where is the mistake? So in such case you can just go with the here it is showing an error. Okay, okay, so you can just read the error. So uncaught reference error, val1 is not defined. So go to program. Okay, so val, okay, sorry, this is variable. Even if you give, because here I have used the same name, variable name, that's why I have not got. So this is not an issue. If you use capital letter or small letter, accordingly you have to use it wherever you are performing the operation using those variables. Okay, so that is telling undefined. Okay, val1 is undefined, so that is not an issue. Actually I wanted to make this capital. Okay, you can just see the color itself, it is telling it is not a keyword. Immediately you can come to know. So now also you will not be able to get the output. Just refresh, give some number. Okay, perform addition, you won't get the output here. Just one simple mistake. What I made is capital V. Actually, it should be small case v. That's why I told JavaScript is case sensitive. When you are typing the code get element by ID, you have to use like this only. G should be small, E should be capital, B should be capital, and I should be capital. This is called camel casing. So you have to use in the proper case sensitive. Is it clear? Any doubt in this program? Any
Understood,
query?
ma'am.
Okay, everybody. So I want everyone to execute this. How will execute? Who are having laptop, you can just start coding it, and who are not having, go with the code pen. So when you are doing with the code pen, just copy this style part. It does not require to write the complete code. So style part should come under CSS. See, when you are typing the code, you should start from the HTML part. Okay, for HTML, so take from body. Okay, put it in the HTML tab. Okay, you will be getting the table, and after I think you will get like this. Okay, by default. If you apply some style for this or some changes, so you will be able to get in the table format, like you are given the styling for this table. Then remaining JS part, I am just telling this who are not having laptop. Okay, so you can just run this code in your mobile phone, but it is, I don't know how you people are managing typing this much of code in mobile phone. It's not an easy thing, but if there is no other option, you have to. Okay, I have one more function. Two functions are available. So one is for performing the particular operation and other for clearing the screen. Okay, so that part you put it here. Okay, so that's all. You will be able to run this program. So how will execute others? Now itself you will start executing. But I want a confirmation that everybody executed this program. See, always make a habit of going through this inspect. Otherwise, you will not be able to, you will not come to know where is the mistake. Okay, so always try to use this inspect option, and you will be able to check where is the error. Okay, so you have so many options like layouts. If you have used grid, everything, you can just check it here. Event listeners, we are going to discuss maybe in the next week. Event listeners in JavaScript. So there is a lot of things still we need to discuss with respect to JavaScript, and also I need to come start with the PHP parallelly. So will, are you people are writing the code or you people are executing? I want the replay. If you are writing in notebook, you can just write it, or parallelly if you want to type the program, that's also okay. But just copying and pasting, I don't want to share this file. Okay, if that is the thing, you will just run that file and you will keep quiet. I want everyone to type the program and execute it, because when you are typing you will do a lot of mistakes. Okay, when you run your program you will get the errors. You should able to clear those errors. Okay, who all are typing the code, you type it, otherwise you can just note down the program. Just tell me, I will scroll once if you have done. Note down in your notebook. Later, if you want, you can run the program. Type it and run the program. So I will share a link where you need to upload this program. Okay, after executing, you have to upload this program. For that, I have not yet created the link. So maybe after 2 days, I will share the link. There you need to upload the executed program in written format. Okay, after executing, you just write it in one